Great. Well, welcome to the City of Westminster Historic District Commission. Our agenda tonight is posted. However, we do not have a quorum, so we will not be able to conduct any actual business. But it would be nice for at least some of us to touch base on a couple of ideas. We won't be able to make any motions. We won't do any official business, but this is just an opportunity for some recap of some basic information. So are we feeling comfortable with that, city staff?
Yes.
Great. I won't be reading I'll call the order or the statement of authority. We will not be approving the minutes at this meeting. We can do that at the next meeting when we have a quorum. We have no old business and no new business. However, we do have some work of the Public Commission. I do have some reporting I'd like to report on with National History Day, and also comments on the repair of the monument. So let's open with those comments. Sandy, do you want to start?
Yes. In reference to the email that Mark sent on April 20th, suggesting that the monument be placed at the other end of the Belgrove Square Park. And then there was a little discussion about why the city would prefer to have that location. And then I think Chair McMasters had wanted those two monuments together. Am I correct?
Yes, that was like what I understood our original agreement to be.
Yes, that is what we originally agreed on, but upon further investigation, Mark and staff thought it would be nice to have this kind of like a walking, a park where, maybe additional monuments will be added through the years, and people could walk around the park and see the monuments, and we could have some signage there directing people to the monuments and what the actual monuments are there for.
So has the monument been placed?
No.
All right, so where are we in the process? Is it still open for discussion, or has Mark just closed the topic entirely?
No, he has not closed the topic. I mean, at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he said, let's put this item on the agenda for tonight, so we can, get a consensus going.
Okay. All right, well, so still from my perspective, I looked at the plan and I really felt we were taking it from one forgotten corner and shoving it into the opposite forgotten corner. I guess I just don't see any advantage to having the two centennial and bicentennial monuments that really share so much in common as far as marking things so far away. I just don't understand that. In our initial discussions, we thought the two of them really should be close enough that they could be interpreted by a single sign. We would celebrate that and move on. I don't know that I'm going to live so long for a third centennial monument. That would be wonderful if we all could, but I just don't see how more monuments down the future is really at all likely. And if they were, how would they tag into the centennial idea of 100 years? So to me, I still am not swayed by what I saw written by Mark. That's where I kind of fall in on it. If you're asking for my opinion, that's my opinion, that the two should be together enough that a single sign can point them out and interpret them. Kevin, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Andrea.
No, Chair McMasters, I will tell you that that was my first impression as well. And then when I went out to the site, I really got to see all of the different, number one, the different monuments, the fountain, the benches that are there that are all put out with little, the namesakes and things like that of people who have been there before. I actually thought that the new location would be great. because it would encourage people to take some time to walk around the park. One of the things that if it's okay, can I share my screen for just 1 second? I just wanted to
Sure.
share. Oh, Sam, are you the host? I'm sorry.
Uh, yes, let
Do you mind
me,
allowing me to be a co-host for just a second? One of the things also that interests me to the corner in which it is. So one of the things I know that Mark has said in his email is that we did go out there with the city arborist, and we were talking with him about, his opinion as well. One of the things that we did talk about was the fact that over the years, his workload has been increasing about the different things that he had to take care of within the park. And so I thought it was really interesting on his perspective that he thought that not only did we think beforehand that this corner would be really great, but that was his perspective as well. There's already a flower bed that's there that would be a good spot. At least I think that it would be a good spot. Let me, oh, sorry. Let me see if I can. So let me know if you can see this. Did it come through?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So just to orient you a little bit, right here is where the current sign was, and that's where it's hit, and the bicentennial is right here. This is a circular loop here with little extensions on each of the thing, and here's the fountain here. So the idea would be to put it at the flower bed that's right here. We felt that it would also be protected here, just as the bicentennial one is more inside of the park than on the outside of the park here. This is also protected by street parking, so the amount of trips and people that are driving by it would be less, but that would also increase that the community would be able to see it more. We thought that also by doing this, it could to increase the pedestrian traffic inside of the park. One of the things that I thought would be a good idea is not only for possibly our interpretive signage to be about the monument itself, but also about the importance of Belgrove Park all in itself and how important it was to the city of Westminster. And that's why that was chosen as the point for the monument location in the first place. Also, Mark had talked to someone at Park Services who does specialize in, I believe he said, like not only interpretive signage, but outdoor exhibits, and trying what they best suggest in something like this. And one of the things that they do say is that it would be good to separate the two so that it gave people an opportunity to walk around the park and to be able to experience both of them, but also the landscaping that's there that I know that the city arborist works really hard with, as well as the maintaining by the women's club, and also for just the park itself, since it is so important to the city of Westminster. That was the idea behind putting it at this location and this location. As I said, I too thought that at the beginning, before I went out there, I thought that it would be a good idea to put them side by side. But after going out and looking at it and seeing just how beautiful this park is, which I'll be honest, I had never been there prior to having, going out there this first time. I wanted to walk around, and I thought that this would be a really great opportunity by having the monuments at different points. Maybe it is just a pipe dream that in the future there'll be other monuments, maybe not. I think that what's there now currently with the two monuments is just beautiful. And I thought that it would be a very good location to have this in. It also allows for a bed that's already existing and already being maintained for the city arborist to take care of that. It's also in a nice location. I know that there's a tulip bed, it's in a tulip bed, but there would also be an opportunity for plantings to be around it as well without interfering with any light poles, other trees that are there, which could be a potential issue depending on where you would want to put it as close to the current monument, because as you go out, there are light poles and some other trees and things of that nature. So we did try to look at it from all the different perspectives. And I do believe that I really do think that this would be a really good place. And we did, and Chair McMasters, we took into account really everything that you said. And I think that you made some really excellent points. It was just about maybe some ideas about where it could be best maintained in the future so that, as you said, I believe in one of your emails also, the, making sure it's protected from the traffic. And this location is actually one of the places where we felt like it would be most protected from the traffic because of the parking on-street parking. But then we also would have the ability for people to take some time to look around the entire park.
So I really appreciate your analysis. I'd love to know the Park Service person who you talked to.
Sure. Yeah,
So
we can get that information for you.
That would be great to forward to me because I still kind of, the logic of it escapes me a little bit.
Sure.
Here's the thing, the bicentennial spot that's there, I walked with Steve Alger. He's the extension agent, retiree. We looked and talked all about trees, light poles, all that stuff. And so near the bicentennial monument, there's none of that concern. So, and it's also further into the park, so that there would be no concern about protection, So it pings on all those concerns that you had already about other trees, light poles, and traffic. And one thing I will say was the image that Mark sent through to us for review didn't have the same spot that you were indicating today. The spot that was indicated was right smack in the dead of the corner, not up within any kind of plantings or anything like that. So, the impression I got was that literally it was on the edge of the sidewalk in some way. You know what I mean? So having it deeper into the park, no matter which location is selected, is certainly a much better idea. But where the cursor is now, I don't even think you can see to the bicentennial monument. There's enough of a rise and the foundation in between. Actually, the bison right there. Yeah, that's where, go back. More towards the middle is where the actual bicentennial monument is. A little more towards the lower. I'm not describing it very well. It should be just down lower to the right, just a smidge. Right in there, right in this center part there. But I don't think you can see it from the proposed location. So if you were to put a sign, you couldn't even tie it to look over there and see another centennial monument. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I guess, oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if you're going to do interpretation, you'd take a theme and you'd say, here's the history of this monument you can look down at. Even if you wanted to say, tie it into something else, you got to be able to at least see it, or it becomes a search and rescue mission. You're going to lose people on the way out to find it if they can't even see it. So to me, that's a huge faux pas. Now, if you want to do an entire interpretation of the square, that's a whole different thing. I would find it interesting to see signs that interpret benches with plaques. The foundation, the fountain is certainly worth an interpretation. That's a big enough thing that would be a date and something interesting told about how it came to be in the middle of Belgrove Square. I'm not sure that's its original location. I understood it's been moved. So still, it's an interesting enough thing that somebody might come and take a look at some signage about it. But what else would be interpretable other than these two monuments in the fountain?
Well, I guess I was just thinking about the fact that this was the first park in the city, or the first land that was put aside to be a park or for recreation purposes or even relaxation purposes at the time. And it also acted as a town square, which the city didn't have. And in fact, the city still doesn't have, a formal town square, if you will. So, I mean, I do think that in the ways of, rec and parks and things of that nature, I think that this is a very, an interpretive place to be. I also don't think that it would be a bad thing, for instance, to put, and maybe I'm looking at this as a, more of the user, you know what I mean, than someone, I don't have the same experience, as to interpretive signage, but I do love to read them. And so when I go to a place, I always stop. And so I was looking at it kind of from that lens, and to look at it that maybe something near the fountain, to be, hold on one second. hold on, wait 1 second. Sorry. To make it, I don't know, something maybe in the middle, maybe more near the fountain, that would be something about the history of the park, and then explaining, in this park, you will see these two monuments that are bringing it together. That would make me then, as the user, want to be able to explore that. These are things that we talked about while we were out there. And like I said, I've never been there before, but seeing the first monument, walking around, seeing all the landscaping and the fountain made me want to be part of it. And so it just made me think that it would be a really nice thing to, and not necessarily, I know that at the current location of the Bicentennial Monument, there isn't any light poles or anything, but depending on how far down where you would want to put the second one, there are certainly things there that could impede that. And so without knowing, putting it right next to it, down a ways so that somebody walking would see it, it just depends on where you want to put it. And so that's what I meant by that. I know there aren't anything, right there, but so anyway, yes.
Yeah, I did walk the place and look around. And I think you're right. I think an interpretive sign about the entire park has a story enough for a sign. I really do. But I can't see putting a sign that says, look over here and look over there. I just don't know interpretation that actually does that. That becomes a scavenger hunt rather than having something that you interpret. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason why when you go on guided tours, the tour guide stands there and points at what he wants you to see. The tour guide doesn't stay 2 blocks away and says, there's a building down there to take a look at. Essentially having someone at the place you want to direct their attention to is effective interpretation, not setting up a sign saying, throughout the park, you're going to find some stuff, go find it. That to me is just a long way from teaching people effectively. And so, making an argument for a second sign I think that's certainly reasonable. But to me, keeping those two monuments so far apart makes it impossible to do a single sign, which I think I was signed on to work on getting the funding for. Sprinkling it around seems to me like kind of a waste of effort and time, and frankly, people's attention. I think you're going to walk it once and try and find it, maybe. I just don't think that's effective. I've never seen a place where they've done something like that, is what I'm saying.
This is just an example of, so this is the bicentennial one. And this is kind of the general location of the proposed one where that star is. And so it is possible to see it. Just wanted to kind of give you another perspective as to where it could be.
That's not the Bicentennial Monument. The Bicentennial Monument is almost flush to the ground.
Oh no, is that the Belgrove? No, it says the Bicentennial. It says here.
It's just a sign saying Belgrove Square. The Bicentennial Monument's nearly flush to the ground. You couldn't possibly see it because it's only an inch or two off the ground.
Can I suggest that we may have a meeting there at the park and we can all see things clearly and then talk about where things, I kind of like the idea of having it's a block square, so it's not like you're hiking 15 minutes. You can walk the whole park in around the block in 5 minutes. So part of me, I am intrigued that Caddy Corner we could put another park monument and make people explore it, but I agree with you, Chris, about signage. May make 2 signs. So again, I'm not objective to that, but I think, how do I say this? Make it simple, stupid.
Exactly. Make it simple. Well, let's go meet out there then, because I honestly, I thought at one point, Mark said to me, just go put a flag in the ground, and I was willing to just go do that, to make it simple and X marks the spot right next to the little other monument, but that little other monument's really small. I mean, it's smaller than the one that we're bringing, that's been repaired.
And we could also invite Steve,
Sure.
the Women's Club, the president, and name escapes me, but Mark had talked to her about the flowers, and again, it could be a community thing we do together. And again, make an announcement when we are to go there and have everybody wear masks. We are outside and we can distance ourselves. As you know, my voice is loud enough. I think people can hear me 6 feet apart.
Yeah, I kind of think we should be working on a plan quietly. And then however it ends up, then you invite a big community hoo-ha. I don't mind having the women there because they are doing a lot of work on managing the flowers. I had initially suggested we bring in the new president of the DAR because I suspect the DAR is the one who paid for the bicentennial. And they are looking for things to get behind. And to be honest, that's a group we haven't heard much from in the preservation world. But, to be honest, I kept asking for more information and I got silence, and I didn't pursue it with the DAR last Saturday when I could have, because I just didn't know, were we going to get a plan that I just can't defend? I'm not going to go and persuade other people to be part of something that's just, to me, not keeping it simple, stupid, that I kind of feel like I got to feel like I myself am behind it before I start getting other people involved. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay, so when should we plan for our next meeting to be out there, or would you want to have a special meeting? What would you prefer?
Well, how close is the monument to being ready to be installed?
I mean, I think that the gentleman has completed his work, and so it could be ready shortly to do that.
The reason why I asked that is that this commission is not really doing anything for Preservation Month, and May is Preservation Month. And, if we get up there, Jackrabbity, in the next week or so as a group, whoever can show up, we plant the flag where it needs to be planted. It's possible it could get installed by the end of the month, and that could be our Preservation Month activity.
Yep.
It seems like, that's the point to declare victory, is where it's actually being planted. And especially if it's being planted at someplace where we all can agree that it's going to meet everybody's needs, that would be terrific, I think, to be able to declare victory and just do it quick within the month of May.
Good point.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe we can try to organize then a special meeting, then so that we can meet out there. We'll send out some sort of correspondence to see when everybody would be available.
The only day I think we should absolutely avoid is Election Day,
Yes.
because I'm working on election day. I wouldn't expect anyone else to be available on election day.
Yeah, no, we'll stay clear of that day, but we will, hopefully we'll try to make this happen in, relatively soon so that we can all, move forward together.
I'd even be willing to meet on a weekend. I don't know about you, Kevin, but you know, a Saturday or Sunday might be easier for some of our commissioners as well, you know?
It doesn't matter to me. Maybe any day would be fine with me.
Mhm.
Flexible.
Okay, well, we'll talk with, staff, we'll talk and see when we can, we can figure out when the best time to come out would be. And, we might do like a doodle poll or something like that to see, what works for everybody as far as availability.
Sounds great. Sounds like a plan. I
Right.
hate to keep things hanging when we can get things accomplished, you know, let's go.
Well, I also like your idea, Chris, about joining and having a May celebration. If we can do that, that does a lot and also help promote things.
Yeah, we really don't have anything else for the Historic District Commission to participate in this month. And, you know, we're not even part of the Flower and Jazz Festival this year. And it's a real shame. It feels like a lost opportunity to promote and educate our public, you know?
Mhm.
All righty.
Okay.
Do we have a direction?
Yeah, I think so.
A suggested direction, since we cannot move on anything. All we can do is talk.
True.
Well,
True.
city staff will work on doing this and you don't have to vote on anything. And, but we will, yeah, we'll all talk together and, put some dates together and do this.
That would be terrific. Terrific. All right, great. So can we unofficially just sort of report other things we've been working on behalf of historic preservation in the city?
Unofficially,
Kevin?
sure.
Unofficially. Kevin, do you have anything you'd like to unofficially report?
No, I lead all my time to you. You seem to be more active than me.
Well, let me tell you, you know, I've been kind of pounding on this National History Day thing for droning on forever. Unfortunately, we did not have any children submit projects that would go with our criteria of being within the National Historic District of Westminster and addressing our architectural history. Those are just the two criteria. We don't tell them that there's an overall theme, and this year was communication, but there was so many projects they could have done and no kid picked up on it. So unfortunately, we had no winners in that local history category. And I've been kind of thinking long and hard about what to do because we really haven't had any winners in a couple of years now. So there may be something that needs to happen to encourage kids to think about Main Street and our National Historic District area as being an exciting topic for next year's National History Day competition. So either that or we might have to decide to get better prizes. Our only prize right now is a letter of commendation. So that may not be attractive enough to motivate anybody. We might have to actually, you know, think about a gift certificate or something of more monetary value to a kid. So that's one thing. The other thing I just wanted to throw out there for you is that on May 18th, I'm doing a box lunch talk on behalf of the Historical Society. And I'm taking my opportunity at public oration to talk a little bit about the Westminster Historic District's tax credit. I've done this presentation before in several places, but it's never been recorded. And doing it on behalf of the Historical Society, I'll be able to present the historic tax credit information, and it'll be recorded on Zoom and hosted on our YouTube site. And for city staff, you could take that presentation and link it to the city website, and that could be like a mini training for people in the future about what the tax credit information is all about. So to me, that's probably my one and only historic preservation thing I can do for this commission for this month, and assure that it gets done because my name is on it.
I like that.
So
Yeah, yeah.
it's just going to be 40 minutes, 50 minutes maybe. But believe it or not, the presentation I did for the library a few years ago, I can't seem to find on my computer. So I'm having to redraft the whole thing. But, you know, rest assured, it's very cut and dried, going to the ordinance, cutting and pasting out pieces of the ordinance and cutting and pasting pieces of our application. And I think it'll be a good thing to stand the test of time that the city can use.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when new people come in, hopefully, if you think about it, you can say, hey, look on our historic preservation page and click onto that introduction if you'd like to learn more. Lastly, I was just going to ask if it's possible that somebody put on their tickler for city staff to possibly look at our page, because I think we still have maybe an old commissioner or two on our page. When I was doing the cut and pasting for the presentation, I noticed, I think there's some old info on there that we might want to take off. And also when Mark was looking for information, I noticed he emailed Steve Colella, who's been off the district commission now for 6 months or more. So you might want to update your group email. I know it's
Chairman
not,
Masters,
yes.
just so you know, that has already been taken care of.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
because Dean Camlin got an invite to this meeting and he didn't seem real happy with his response to me. Because he's on that group, HTC group
yes,
email.
yeah.
So
Dean gets mad at me when I still invite him stuff to the historic district or to the historical society as well. He thinks I'm being passive aggressive to get him back. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I know that's not top on your list. I know that's not, you know, the most important thing you guys have to do while you're moving. So those were just my 3 little things. Is there anything else we can go over tonight?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay. Well, then I guess the Historic District Commission has done a great job again this month.
Thank you.
And I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good evening.
Bye.